Welcome in to another episode of the spiritual healing series that I have. This episode is going to be a tough pill because no one wants to swallow this one. A lot of you all are very delusional. You say these things that make no sense. You are not healed. You are listening to your ego. And that is a big thing that everyone needs to take a big look at and grasp. As someone that's actually done the healing work, and I don't mean sitting on the floor meditating, humming. I'm talking about really looking at my life and seeing what's going on in my life. Not being a bystander, but an actual creator of my life. I have noticed that a lot of people are too afraid to do that. They live through the fear of others. They blame other people. They blame situations that you put yourself in. That can go on and on with that one. But people ignore the fact that it is you. You are the problem. It will always be you because you are standing by, guess what? Yourself. And what happens when you stand beside yourself? You know that saying, don't stand beside yourself or you'll get in trouble? What do? You stand beside yourself. You defend yourself on things that you did to yourself. How do you touch the stove, burn your hand and go, well, I didn't know it was hot even though it was on. I thought it would still have to warm up a bit. Do you see how delusional that sounds? Now let's take this to another situation. You meet someone. You have a feeling inside of your stomach. You have a feeling about this person. Maybe I shouldn't be near them. That thought comes up a few times in your mind throughout weeks, months, maybe even years of knowing this person. And then one day, that individual that you've been getting these signs about turns on you. Whose fault is that? Is it their fault for turning on you, or is it your fault for not listening to yourself? A lot of people who are very unhealed want to say that the problem is them. It's not me, it's the other person because they should have never done that. You should have never stuck around. You kept the door open. You allowed that door to be open. And then you pursued that door to be open. Not only that, but even after leaving that person, you still keep a door open to them. You still send, oh, I hope I get my vengeance on so and so. You're unhealed. And a lot of people want to go, you don't know anything about that. I was locked in a basement for 30 days, no food, no water, almost killed, had a gun held to the back of my head, all in the span of 2 years. I want you to replay that and listen to it. I don't hold any anger or harboring any sort of revenge or justice on those people because I've actually healed. And it's not words I'm saying. It's the truth. You all do not have that healing capability, whether due to a mental delusion or some form of DNA issue that you refuse to look at. You need to learn how to heal. You cannot go around saying that you're healed, and then prove to the world that you're not. This leads to spiritual psychosis. This leads to confusion. The devil loves you all because you all are fake. You do not heal. You act like you heal, but there is no healing. And this isn't me being mad, because I know a lot of people want to say, oh, you're just being mean and mad. I'm just telling you straight up, because no one else has the balls to. Because you react the way that you react. Because you think the way that you think. Because you can't see who you are actually due to some form of egoic rose-colored glasses that you all like to call self-love, when in actuality it's self-infatuation. You call yourself God's chosen child and then attach yourself to it and then ask God why all these things are happening to you. Because you're not God's child. Because you don't know who God is. Because you want to cling on to a biblical force and follow a legion again down the same rabbit hole that they walked before you in the same books that you preach out of and teach out of, quote unquote teach, that lead you down the same path every time. Yet you wonder about the confusion, and you wonder why your prayers aren't answered, and you wonder why these people are still harassing you, and why you tell yourself that these people are being handled, but you're not handling yourself. Why you allow the fear of being watched to stalk you despite the fact that you're only an observer of your own life at this point, so you haven't really done anything to move out of that watching position. Not only mentioning the fact that we do have watchers who watch us, not only mentioning the fact that your own devices that you carry, your phones or GPS tracking devices that you carry, not seeing the delusion of your own fairy tale where you want one thing to happen when in actuality you're indulging in the complete opposite. The same world where you can't walk outside and have a bird look at you is in the same world where you are complaining about why someone else is watching you. Why are you afraid to move forward? Because you have not healed. You have not looked at these things. You still make excuses and say, well, if they weren't doing this, if they weren't doing that, if they didn't do those things, would you still be moving forward? Probably not, because you have to heal. Because there's aspects of yourself that still don't move, despite the fact that they've stopped, despite the fact that you hear and you have somehow convinced yourself, emphasis on that you are safe and protected. You don't move like you are, because you know deep down inside that you're lying to yourself. And it's not because these people are attacking you, it's because you're attacking yourself, and you are afraid of yourself. Not, oh, my power. You're afraid of who you are because you are a monster who's been hurting yourself. The saying goes, it takes one to know one. So if you're surrounded by narcissists, most likely you are a narcissist. Might not be to other people, but to yourself for sure. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look back at it. Look up the etymology of narcissist. Look up the definition, if you even need, of narcissist. Compare someone's actions to yours that you call a narcissist, for it would have only happened to you if you carried those traits. I think you all forget the whole fact of these new age terms of twin flame is simply just a mirror or a reflection of who you are. So that person was an exact replica of who you were, of how the world sees you, of how the labels of this world compile you. So yes, you were the narcissist. Yes, you were that murderer. Yes, you were that person who harmed a child. On the aspects of yourself. These things people don't want to hear. Because your demons don't want to let loose of you. You want to make friends with your demons. So you can be backstabbed later on because you don't know how to charm them. Same thing with snakes. You don't know how to charm the snakes. You don't know how to use the snakes around you. You're so afraid of the snakes around you that you forget that snakes bite. And if you train a snake, you can allow a snake to bite something that is not you. You just have to know when to let go. This all comes down to you not listening to yourself. You outreaching and out-searching for someone else to solve your problems. So you don't have to look at them. But yet you refuse to look at your own problems yourself and heal. And that's a crazy thing to even talk about. But this, I see it, and I've witnessed it, and I've done an experiment on this channel for the past 2 years when I started to shift my focus onto healing videos and etc. I've noticed the shift. So many people are delusional. You're slow. You think. You don't know how to feel yet. You never knew how to feel in the first place because you think too much. And your thinking creates false feelings that lead you down the wrong path. What do we always say? We say, don't let the fear get to you. But what do? You move and operate out of fear. Oh, I just don't know what to do. You do know what to do. You just refuse to listen to yourself. You refuse to stop allowing yourself to be sensory overloaded because of how we've been bred in this society. No one can watch over a 30-second clip now without getting bored. No one can sit down for an hour and read a book because your brain's defective, because your DNA is rotting inside of your body. It's not elevating, it's rotting. You need to gain new skills as a human being so you can actually evolve. You need to see things in different ways so you can actually grow. And this is things that people don't know how to do simply because they refuse to do it and they expect someone else to do it. You have people that allow the devil to tell them sweet nothings, and then they go about their day-to-day life as if everything is fine when they know deep down inside that it's not. But you don't want to look at those types of responsibilities. You want to put the blame, oh, well, I wouldn't be in this situation if they didn't destroy my business. Why were you in a position for your life to be destroyed by a business? If your issue is money, then why have you surrounded your life around a money-esque thing? Why not learn how to live off grid and build your own thing so you don't have to worry about that? Oh, well, I have to buy my own land. Why not work with people? Are you afraid of working with people? Are you afraid of people because you know who you are? Because you know the type of people that you attract because you've yet to look at your own wounds? Those who are actually healed are alone, or are loaned to this earth, I should say. And they don't have anyone by their side because a wise man knows to have no friends. Yet you all create parasocial relationships online to make up for that lack of friendship. You all create false friends or allow yourself to feel as if you are friends with someone due to a transaction that was nothing more than a simple transaction. There's a lot of... It's humorous. It really is. I can't lie. Because it's funny to see so many people run around this earth say, oh, I'm healed, and then you point out how they're not healed, and they immediately start pulling out the excuses. Oh, they've been waiting to pull these cards out. Oh, I've almost been killed. Oh, I've been tracked by the FBI. Name the person who's tracking you in the FBI, by the way. If you believe deep down inside that that one of the three-letter agencies are on you, what do you actually offer mentally, DNA-wise? Not this bullshit DNA, like your actual lineage. Have you been researched? Has your lineage been researched on how smart you are? There are lineages that are tracked like that. Have you had an alien encounter that actually has the CIA tracking you? Because if you did, you would know the names of the people in these branches. They wouldn't be these mysterious figures. You're delusional. You're stuck in some form of delusion. Wake up and break out of it if you can't name them. And you might say, well, I can't. Well, you can. I've worked with plenty of people who have given me full proof, name, first, middle, last, their position, everything, in three-letter agencies that are watching them and harassing them. Oh, I've worked with plenty of people who can prove that stuff. Yet, you can't for some reason, because you're stuck in a delusion where you want to blame an invisible force and then move forward. And then you want to blame the devil for certain things, even though we all know by the book of Job that the devil can't do anything without God's permission. So God puts you through that, not as a test, but as a wake-up call to show you, hey, you're fucking up your own life because you keep running back to things that you know you shouldn't be running back to. And then you get confused on why everything you attract is wibble-wobbly and back and forth. It's because you are back and forth yourself. You have not sat down in darkness for 3 days to heal or to even attempt to try and see what's wrong. You haven't sat with yourself without any auditorial or any sort of sensory additive. You haven't tried to fast and heal and sit in a dark room and allow your thoughts to run so you can see how you actually are. You haven't done that yet because you're afraid of what's going to happen. You're afraid, oh, I'll lose my mind, because you've grown so attached to an illusion that you refuse to see the truth. You speak highly of a God figure, but you don't even know his appointed name, nor call him his appointed name. So it makes a whole huge issue on your behalf, because now you're saying God whenever God can mean devil. That was one of Shaitan's name, was God. But I digress because, again, for those that have read, quote unquote, read the Bible, they probably skimmed through it. They probably read what they wanted to read out of it, but they've yet to see the truth of it all. That it is you. And the only force on this earth that can create and do things is God. What would possess someone to do something of that nature? God. And we're not talking about the devil, God, for those that are confused. We're talking about the Father who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done. And it is. For he does not like his creation. That's why he keeps trying to get rid of them or try to show them you're fucking up. I don't think a lot of you are ready to hear that, though, that God does not really like his creations. He made you perfectly imperfect, but you all run off with the imperfections and then put them on other people instead. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Because you've yet to do that healing. Because you've yet to see the fallacies in your own work and move forward in a way that keeps you stuck in the past, instead of being forward moving. And you can see that in the reflective world of these online tarot readings, which I've also conducted a very big experiment on. Because behind the scenes, you all don't know what I'm doing. You don't know who I am. You don't know why I'm here. I told you that the Father who resides in heaven gave me this position. I never said for what purpose. Yeah, it was to help, but I realized people didn't want help. I realized people didn't want to heal. So I switched over and I watched. And I just observed. And I watched the delusion spread and spread and spread. Why do you think every reading got funnier and funnier? It was to show you all how ridiculous it is to be in this mindset. Oh, but these things are happening. These things are real. Only as real as you make it. And if you decide to focus on it, it only creates more and more of an issue. That's no one else's fault but yours. That's where you have to take your own accountability. Anyway, back to the topic of this video, which is healing the ego and really seeing what it does and how it moves. The ego is a tricky thing, and a lot of people think they have dissolved their ego, but they haven't. A lot of people have dissolved their self and have put on a fake smile and a fake happiness to believe that the world is joyous because they have lost their soul. They have not retrieved their soul back. They have given it up, actually, because a lot of people don't have souls, or not a lot of people are born with souls, but everyone's born with the spirit. And there's soulless people out here who act like they have a soul, which is why they come off as disingenuous, which is why they don't know what it means to heal, because they have a spirit in them, not a soul. And it's a grand thing to look at, because your ego wants you to feel like you are the most perfect thing and that you haven't done anything wrong and the world's against you. If the world is against you, why are you here? If you are fully healed, why are you here? Oh, I'm here to experience. What are you here to experience? The delusion of yourself and the downfall of your own being? No, I'm here to watch other people suffer. That sounds like a demon. Oh, you're just here to watch people suffer? Cool, so you're a demon. Awesome. Glad we got that part done. Again, this is why I say all the time to be careful of the words and labels you put on yourself, because they speak louder than you think. When you say earth angel, where were the angels sent, the 1/3 of the angels sent that follow Lucifer? The earth. So when you say earth angel, you're not just talking about beings of celestial traces, you're also talking about terrestrial beings, which a lot of you are. Your wings are not as real as you would like to see or make them, They are more of a facade because you can't fly high enough. Your wings aren't strong enough to lift your heavy, burdensome body through the gates. In fact, you can only see them or imagine what it would be like to go through those gates. And a lot of people don't like to hear these things because no one, especially the spiritual community, because they're all delusional. They don't like to put on their thinking caps. They like to be told things because that's a human error. A bunch of ants running in a circle, really. And that's why people mock and poke fun, and they believe it's a funny thing to do these things to you. But no one's judging, and I'm not judging at all. Especially in the world where you have your own issues to worry about. I, for one, have done this healing to be able to tell you these things, which is why there are so many people that are confused, baffled, who are older than me, old enough to be my parents, that go, wow, you taught me something. It's because I've done the healing work. I actually do the work. I'm not like the rest of you all who play this facade, this game. In that short I uploaded called you to leave the game, you have to play it. You have to play the game. You don't have to, but you choose to because you all have allowed yourself to be placed inside that game as a pawn. Think that you're a king or queen, but truly are just a pawn, which is why nothing has moved forward for you because you haven't done that work. You haven't seen that truth, that aspect of what's really going on. You still want to live in that delusion where I am healed and other people are just attacking me and making me mad. Well, they shouldn't be making you mad. They shouldn't be getting under your skin or in your auric field at all if you're healed. Because if you are healed, that wound would be shut. They would have no entryway in. So have you done your healing work, or have you sat back and allowed yourself to lie to yourself to think that you've done that healing work? It's most likely that you've lied to yourself and made yourself think that you've done the healing work. And I know a lot of people would like to say, oh, I actually did the healing work. Are you upset? Does that fire in your chest rise? Do you start to shake and tremble? If so, you have not done the healing work. Because you're being affected. Because you're allowing something on the outside to change your internal state of being. Do you see what I mean? A lot of people have not healed because you still react the same way as if someone was coming at you with malicious intent. Because you cannot see the fair line between helping in a healing manner, where they tell you in a direct way how communication is supposed to be done directly to you, not around you or speaking in parables to confuse you, to make you think that you understand, because you think too much about it that you start to feel, and your neurons begin to affect your nervous system and your vagus system, and then you go, oh, I think I feel something. No, you think you feel something. You don't feel anything. A lot of y'all haven't even seen that aspect of yourself yet. A lot of y'all still haven't even seen the aspect where you created all of this because that's what you desired. Because you have unhealed mommy and daddy issues that then make you want to make God, the biblical God, a protector for you because you're unable to stand for yourself. Because you have these family wounds, these connection wounds, where, oh, I don't know why they did this, I don't know about that, and then you connect yourself to a force that you don't even know the names of. You would like to use these made-up words or these titles that you are given of these individuals in books that have been translated incorrectly for so many damn years that it's not even funny. To then convince yourself that you're going one way when in actuality you're going the other. You are playing the devil's game. You are inside the devil's game. And the only way to break the devil's game is with truth. And to say, oh, the truth doesn't matter, there's no such thing as truth, shows how blind and devil-minded you are. Only the devil would say there is no truth. because the devil himself ignored the one truth that God made him for one purpose, and he decided to go off and do something else that he wanted to do rather than what God had put him on the table for. You all forget that Lucifer was an angel, and he fell. And a lot of you all fell. But doesn't he still have his wings too? Not all wings are angelic, and not all wings allow you to fly. So I need you all to really sit with this message. Really allow it to seep in. It's a tough pill. No one said it was going to be fun on your healing journey. But the amount of people that I see daily lie about healing, use substances to cope, say, oh, moderation is key, blah, blah, blah. The devil loves those things. He loves giving you a little pass, a little excuse, a little pat on the back for ignoring what you know that you shouldn't be doing. See, look at that. I even got caught up. But that's the whole point, is to truly see if you are healed or not. By not making these excuses. Oh, I can't do this because blah, blah, blah. Oh, you can. You just really don't want to. You want someone to take care of you because you're lazy. You're not tired. You're just lazy. And if you are tired, it's probably because you keep putting a bunch of dead food in your body that's not giving you life. You're probably not even exercising or attempting to exercise mentally or physically or even emotionally. So then your body begins to hold on to all of that, not being able to exercise, not being able to release. There are so many things that one can do, but it's about getting in shape at the end of the day. Whether that's a physical shape, a mental shape, however, you need to look at it. See how the world around you is a mirror. See how you are only the victim in your world because that is the exact position that you wanted to be in. And if you complain or cooperate on this plane that you have put yourself on, then that is what you're going to get. You don't always have to feel weak to the things that you allow yourself to witness, but you allow it to happen anyway. Regardless, this healing series is not for the weak. This healing series is for the meek, for those that actually see the truth and can really see how silly it is. The fact that you hold a grudge on an inanimate object or a literal memory that isn't happening anymore. It shows how strong the brain is, but how weak your will is, especially for one that claims to be chosen by the Father who resides in heaven, appointed the name Anu. But I love you all, regardless. I wish you all to heal, and I wish you all to stay on this journey and to see just how silly it all is, to see how slow those around you are and where you have allowed it to build up and up only because you yourself were too slow to catch on. I will see you all later. Everything that you need would be in the description of this video. I love you all. Peace in the Lamb. It is truly wonderful.